Ready? Oh, what episode is it?
I don't fucking know.
Come on, man.
71? 72? 71? 71, I want to say.
71. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode number 71 of the RDO podcast. Not as usual, we have Alex and Liam, the super ringing today, subbing in for Jason, that is having the weekend off with his family, which is very nice. First, hi, how are you?
Good. Very good.
That's good. First shout out goes to everyone, because we just got a notification sent from our hosting service that we've had 1,000 downloads.
Oh, there you go.
So that only just came in the last couple of days. So we're very, very happy with that, and we really appreciate everyone out there that listens. We do waffle a lot of shit, so if you ask me if I think on average we get between sort of 60 and 100 people download and watch. If they wanted to hear what we'd have to say, we would have said definitely no.
But, variety is the spice of life.
Yeah, true.
You're not going to get the content that you get on the RDO podcast anywhere else.
No, it's a bit unique. Yeah. It is a bit unique, especially compared to what most mass media is out there. But no, thank you very much. And look, if we make no money out of this, I'd love to make money out of it. So
get some sponsors.
Like, share, yeah. If you want to throw money at us, crypto, anything, I'll accept all forms of payment. And if you give us a narrative that you want us to push, and we'll push it for money. That's what all players seem to be doing. So I guess we can, we're no better than them.
You'll buy yourself out. Who cares?
Show me the money. Show me the money. You might just pushing just a little bit, just to get a little bit closer. I want to give a quick update with my injury that I've had, which is that I am doing much better, and the rehab has really worked. And what I did want to say is, like, anyone out there that's got little niggly things, if you haven't seen a physio, I highly suggest it. Not in a million years would I have guessed or been able to figure out the method that they've used on me to get where I was.
Because you had lower back pain, didn't you?
No, it started in the back of my neck. It was right. The back of my neck at the very top, right under my head, somehow linked to effectively my tailbone.
Right.
And it turns out what we think it is that I've stretched the nerve that runs from my head to my back. Mm. And the more I think about it, it was on a bad deadlift. And you know better than anyone, like if your form is off, it can be very damaging. And I think that's what I've done. But being able to isolate the movements was really powerful. So for the first couple of days, just being able to avoid the things that fire off that pain was really nice. And then having workout routines to touch on the pain, but definitely not trigger it.
Yeah.
I think it's not conditioning, they call it exposure.
Yeah.
So actually getting some constant exposure to it was really good too. But I've been back to the gym since. Funny, I tried to deadlift, I need like 40 kilos, and the position grabbing the bar and pulling it up off the ground, that first would tee it off a little bit. But obviously there was more mental pain, I think, than anything.
Yeah, and I think that's the case with most injuries is, yes, you do need to sort of rest and recuperate, but you can usually do some variation of something around it. You can usually work around most problems, which it sounds like what you've done, which has sort of built you back up.
Well, I jumped on the bench to do bench press, and laying down kind of hurt, but doing the actual bench press didn't.
Yeah, but you got a freaky bench. I think just whatever your issues are, you're going to be able to bench. That's your thing.
I did 10 sets of 10 at 60 kilos, and I reckon I easily could have done another 10.
That's insane.
I felt so strong.
That's
but then I get off that, go over to the bar, the deadlift bar, with these two little weights on the edge. Oh, hi guys. And then try to lift it up going, yeah.
But still, like the volume from just that bench.
Yeah, it's good.
10 sets of 10.
Mm.
That's a lot of work.
And like powering, bang, 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 bang. Maybe I might walk out and I might show you.
Yeah.
I might show you if they let me in. So yeah, if anyone's got any niggly little things, you know, some stuff you might not have even thought about, like that you're injured. You might just think that you have back pain. You become so used to it. Go and see a good one, and they are worth their weight in myrrh.
I think another one, I've got a mate who he's larger, so he's probably like $160, $170.
Yeah, right.
He had issues with his feet. So he found going to a podiatrist actually helped him because he's got, and this won't be the case for most people, but because he's applying so much pressure to his joints,
small contact patch,
just from walking. Yeah. Small, exactly. So he had sunken arches. So basically he got a lot of work done on his feet, and that's alleviated like knee pain and everything because he had sort of, you know, like the pigeon toe where you curved in, your knees buckle in, because you've got so much weight pushing down. So it's funny how just minor adjustments to a small area, or seemingly small area, can affect everything all the way up.
My question, what tips did the podiatrist give him?
I think it was the type of shoe. Again,
that's what I want to know.
So the commercial, a lot of shoes that we wear today are really, really bad for us, and it's all because of marketing. So I think Nike might have been one of the brands that kicked off the wedged heel. Right. That's really bad for you. Like we're supposed to be flat-footed, more or less. We're supposed to have, you know, very minimal, you know, arch in our heel.
We've effectively, the shoe has effectively changed the way people walk and run and stand.
100%. Yeah. If you look at any track and field athlete, they're wearing the skinniest shoe possible, because we're not supposed to run in an arch. However, because we run incorrectly, you should realistically, I think, like toe strike as well. Yeah. A lot of people heel strike, which fucking hurts. Yeah. So they developed a cushioned heel, which is just reinforcing a bad habit, is all it's doing. Yeah. Which just causes trouble in the long run.
Well, you know what shoes I wear predominantly, right?
Yeah, loafers.
Yeah.
Boat shoes.
I'm a moccasin guy.
Yeah.
Primarily, I like the driving moccasins. So the driver has got the heel part. Right. Right. So obviously for pedals, and but what got me onto them was I went through that journey because when I played basketball as a young guy, I was having problems with my the growth plate on my heel. Yep. And I used to have to get carried off at the end of the game. I couldn't walk. And then I started going down the deep dive about foot stuff, and that's when I'd first heard, oh yeah, you're not supposed to have high arch support. You know, previous to that when I was at school, I had high arches, so I'd always got shoes that supported that. And then the more research I did on it, like, you're not supposed to have any of that. It's supposed to be flat. It was supposed to be natural, whatever your natural... And I had converted, I'm trying to think when the first pair of moccasins that I bought, because I was always wearing, back in the day, like when I was kicking around in the early noughties, you wore skate shoes, globes, and that was the in thing.
DCs,
yeah, had heaps of pairs of DCs, big fat ones.
With a tongue that 5 inches thick.
Yeah, waist is like all stretched out. Yeah. And I reckon I got my first set of like a boat shoe thing and thinking, man, I know exactly when it was. 2011. 2011 went to Tasha and I went for a big like Euro trip, and I'm seeing these guys walking around in Spain and Italy. They're not wearing the shoes that we're wearing. No, they're all moccasined. So I bought a pair over there, and I'm like, man, this is cool. This is cool. And at the time too, the other fashion, everyone back here was wearing really long board shorts. You know, Billabong and Quicksilver board shorts. Yeah. And over there, they're wearing short ones, and I'm like, dude, I wear short ones now. Like this, and then 2 years later, everyone used to hang shit on me all the time. That they're too short, too much leg. They had like a floral print on it. Right.
You're ahead of the game.
Well, I wasn't ahead. I was ahead here, but I knew that Europe was doing it. And 2 years later, everyone was wearing it. Like, welcome, you know. My lower thigh has had
Out of
so much
10.
more.
Yeah, you're
sun.
just looking at everyone's white legs.
Yeah, I was ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been like a big moccasin wearer ever since, and I noticed that if I spend a couple of days in, say, my gym shoes or something like that, or when I used to wear RMs to work, you walk different.
Yes.
And I noticed it when I walk into supermarkets and they've got the camera that's spotting you, and you can see your back, and the shape of my walk is completely different.
Yeah, drastically. I know when I go to the gym, it's not the most stylish choice, but I think they're called, I think it's Vivo Barefoots.
Are they the ones with like the toe?
They don't have the toe, but they're similar. So they do have a very large toe box.
Right.
Extremely flat. There's almost nothing to the sole.
Yeah.
And it's so that your toes can spread and grip.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the most, probably the most worn shoe in the gym is usually Converse. High tops,
Right.
especially for like deadlifts and stuff, because it gives you a bit of ankle support because
Yep.
it's higher. But if you even compare, like I'm wearing Vans today, if you even compare Vans to Converse are so narrow in the toe box. So Vans are wider because they're a skate shoe.
Yeah.
Because they're designed for you to land.
Yeah.
So you need that extra room for when you're slamming down on your board.
Yeah.
So that's why they've got a slightly wider toe box. But Converse are just so narrow, and you're not getting all of the support you need. You might be getting ankle support, but you're not getting the support of the foot across.
See, I find Vans wide and narrow at the same time. So I find them tight to fit
Right.
on my feet, but I've also had them lock out basically leaving the throttle flat at lakeside and stuck under the brake pedal.
No.
Because they've got that, the sole comes around the outside of the formation of the shoe. So I don't wear Vans on the track anymore because they're terrifying. But no, so it is interesting. So yeah, I think the big lesson out of this is if you have those little niggly issues, don't just let them go. Like if we've learned anything about the last 2 years is we need to really be listening to our bodies.
Yeah.
And when address it.
Yeah, and we've got so much available these days.
Yeah.
Why not? Why put yourself through it?
I mean, it's not cheap. My health cover spotted half, but it was still, $55 a session or something like that. And you might be in there for 15, 20 minutes. So that part you might go, ugh. But the fact that I can now put my head in a bucket to wash a car, or I can change the bed without, wincing in pain, so that's worth it.
Yeah, quality of life. I think that's one thing you got to look at. That's the most valuable thing, really.
For sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about an issue. So you're not really invested in the stuff that we've been talking about of late, but I did see my favourite article came out yesterday. Did you hear about the
Nope.
the Finland's PM?
Nah.
The Prime Minister of Finland is a lady that's 36 years old.
Okay. Is this the
So very attractive lady.
Yeah. It's ringing a bell.
So she came into contact with someone, and because she was double vaxxed, she didn't have to quarantine. So she went out night clubbing.
Right.
Till 4 a.m. and left her phone at home, and was getting pinged saying, no, you need to in this case, you need to. And she's had to come out and everyone, like the overarching, and it was the first feeling I had. All the comments were like, how did you last to 4 a.m. like at 36 years old?
No, I think the more surprising thing is how did you go out without your phone?
Oh, chicks do that stuff all the time, man. My missus does it. I'll look at the couch and it's still connected. She's just forgotten.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Oh.
It's not an extension and do you know what I think? They don't have pockets. Chicks don't have pockets, therefore they don't have their phones attached to them all the time. So sometimes it's in a handbag or sometimes it's in their car. It's not as welded to their bodies as it is to a man's. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I guess so. Because I've been trying to step away a few days a week at least.
Oh yeah.
2 or 3 days a week. Try and get off social media and stuff like that. Just step back. Because you do get in those
Dude,
way
it's
too
trash. I'm full blown addicted.
Mm.
Full blown addicted. And what we spoke about on last week's podcast. Even worse than that, the format is so trash that it's not even a pleasurable place to be. Like I'll be sitting on the couch having a flick, and then something pops up, it's too loud, and then I'm trying to exit out of it, and back button now either closes the app or takes you to the start and starts playing it again, but in the small window.
See, I think that that's a Android problem, potentially.
Right.
Because I haven't had that issue on Apple. What I have, because I don't use, like I post videos of like lips or whatever,
Yep.
and often they're more than 15 seconds, which is the
yeah.
cutoff,
Yeah.
right? And what I generally do, so you don't hear me grunting and shit, is I'll put a song
Yeah.
in, right? Now they used to have a feature where whichever song you picked, when you got to the second clip, was over 15 seconds,
It
would
continued.
continue.
Yeah.
Not anymore. So now you got to sit and listen to when that 15 seconds ended, what lyric it finished on, and then go back in.
That's what.
Scroll.
So that's what we were talking about before. That's a regression in the user interface.
They had it.
It
Why
was-
get rid of it?
They've broken it
Yeah.
because they don't care anymore. Because they've forgotten there's a customer attached to the end of this, and they're so gathered in what they can sell you using the data that they've forgotten that, hey, this interface sucks. And I said it last week. I think it's because they're trying to compete with TikTok.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make it a copy of TikTok, yet it's just a mess on the way through. And I get it, it's hard. But you know what? If I was a multi-billion-dollar company, I reckon I could make it work. And I wouldn't let it out there until it was done.
But also, why compete? Like you already do what you do,
Yeah.
and you already have the user base that you have.
It's declining user base, that's the problem.
Mm.
Facebook is going like off a cliff in terms of pickup, and Instagram has stagnated.
Okay.
So
I've not looked at the figures. So
Yeah.
I don't use Facebook.
Yeah.
Because
you're young.
Okay. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but okay.
No, they don't. There's Facebook is for old people.
Right. Okay. So I only use Facebook to communicate with my coach because I post all of my stuff in there.
Is he old?
Nope.
How
He's
old is
my
he?
age.
Really?
Yeah, but you just make a Facebook private group,
Okay.
and then you can just post your videos and your feedback and
Sure.
stuff in there. Other than that, I don't use it. It's
Yeah.
good for birthdays.
Yeah.
Instagram I'll use.
Take your birthday off there. Anyone that's got their birthday on
Yeah.
Facebook, take it off because.
No present for you. Fuck you.
Well, it's not that. When I had my birthday on there, my credit card used to get skimmed all the time. I removed it, gone.
Oh.
Because what do you need to get your to?
Oh, I don't know. I just got a credit card and it took me fucking like 18 hours to get on the phone with someone to say I am who I am.
Because someone else is using it.
Yeah, it was so difficult.
Yeah.
If you can go through 18 hours of hold music, you deserve my money.
Yeah.
Take it, it's yours.
Here's some free credit. You've won this game.
But I'm not on TikTok
I'm not.
at all.
Do you want to hear my conspiracy theory on TikTok?
Go for it, love it.
TikTok came to prominence due to short video times.
Mm.
Can you move that ball?
Sorry.
Thanks, mate. Short video times, but often put to music, and people are doing similar dance moves, right?
Mm.
For me, that told me, and we know it's Chinese,
Mm.
and because it's Chinese government, okay? They're one and the same.
They're trying to make dance robots.
No,
Lots of footage of dancing people.
Well, yes, they've got lots of footage of dancing people, which is going to help build the data set for artificial intelligence.
Yeah, dancing robots.
And mouth movements, so people like mouthing off things. So you've got the text data there, you know what they're saying,
Yes.
you know what the mouth looks like. Is that not the perfect data to build a digital avatar of someone?
It is. People don't like robots looking like people though. That's one study that they've done time and time again.
It's called Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
But if you make a really good one, the problem is that there's something not right about it.
Yes.
But once it is right, and there are people out there that are there are people out there that are currently having sex with latex dolls that look nothing like people.
I was just going to say it's going to kick off to perverts first.
Yeah, well, and they pay. It's a high paying industry.
Yeah, big time. But yeah, I think they need to start making imperfections in them because that's what we don't like. Because you just make
symmetry.
Yeah, you're making a silicon mold of a face that looks the same on both sides.
Yeah.
Because there was something that we did at school where you like took a photo of the left side of your face and then like duplicated it, and then the photo of your right and duplicated to see what you would look like
if you're beautiful.
Yeah,
but you look weird.
But I think there's there's an ugly side and a good looking side.
Right.
Like if you replicate one side looks better than other, but then having both, you look normal.
So I saw that because there's a mathematical theorem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Elizabeth Hurley is perfect.
Right.
Like by this formula, she's perfect.
That's why Warnie got in there.
Warnie's a legend. He's been everywhere. he's had like the top shelf stuff, and he's quite happy to shop in the sale bin too.
Oh yeah, why not?
And if you look at him now, you're like, why are you orange? Like has he moved to? Is he living in Muscle Beach or something?
He's spending that Ashley Martin money.
Yeah. Bit of a early noughties reference there, I suppose. Those ads haven't been on for a while.
That's the last time I saw an ad. I don't watch TV anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No ads.
Tell us about. So you've been on a bit of a journey of late. Tell us a little bit what fight. No, last time we spoke, where were we at? Have you just done your second DEXA or something? I'm trying to think.
Last time I was on, or last time we spoke?
Last time you were on here.
Last time I was on here, I'd only done one DEXA scan.
Yeah.
That's what sort of kicked off me joining the gym and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, low bone density, 34% body fat.
Yeah.
120 kilos.
Yeah.
Something like that. I got a DEXA scan maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. 25% body fat.
Yeah.
Bone density is above average.
Yep.
And the guy said, basically, if I continue the way I'm going, you'll get into like the sort of elite level.
Right.
Well, I'm in 2 categories, which was unusual. So I'm in the bottom 25% fat ratio. So I'm fatter for my age, height, and weight.
Right.
I'm fatter than 75% of other males.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
My age, height, and weight.
Yeah.
But I also have more muscle mass than 75% of other males of the same age, height, and weight.
Interesting. What's the lifting difference between then and now?
Night and day. Warm up weight, or top sets are now warm up weights.
Yeah.
I just got a couple of days ago 200 kilo deadlift.
Congratulations.
It was a struggle, but we got it up.
It looked dirty. It was really dirty.
It was a little bit dirty. 180 went up easy, so I thought, I'll give 200 a go.
Yeah, maybe you should have gone to 190 first.
Yeah, but I think 190 was already my previous PR, and I didn't want to gas out trying 190 and then trying 200. So I just thought I'll just go for the 200. It's still a confidence thing. That's the biggest thing with big weightlifting, is the confidence thing. If you've not done a number before, and you're just looking at the bar like, I've not done this before.
Yeah.
It's not going to go up.
Yeah.
So I think now that I've done it, I know I can do it. Going back next time should theoretically go up.
Isn't it amazing how that your brain is your worst enemy?
It's insane. It controls everything if you think about it. It does control everything. If you were calm about it and you knew your process and you knew what training you'd done beforehand, you'd reasonably think, oh yeah, this should be.
Well, like you've suggested to me before, if you didn't know how much weight was on it, you could probably just lift it and then get told after, hey, that was 200.
100%.
Yeah.
I've done that previously, where you just start throwing, plates on the bar and then go for it and then count it later.
Yeah.
Because I think it's funny how you get more efficient at everything. So you don't only get more efficient at lifting, but you also get more efficient at your setup.
Right.
So that means loading the bar, getting in the right sort of
in the zone.
in the zone, getting your form
Body shape
right and
right.
then going. So I think when I first started, because I was so slow at putting the plates on and then getting into position, I had all that extra time to think. So I was just like, and all that extra time to sort of, talk myself out of it.
Right. It's that. So that monologue, is it something like, you've not done this before?
Yeah.
I wonder what it's going to feel like. I don't know if you can do this. It just constantly plays over and over and over and over.
Oh, 100%, especially in a commercial gym when there's other people there too.
Yeah.
So you have the other added thing of, people are looking at me.
Yeah.
If I fuck this up, I'm going to look stupid.
Yeah.
I have to leave.
The failure complex. And think about how stupid that is. We are worried about failing on something so insignificant. It means nothing. And it means nothing to that person. The amount of conversations I've had with people think people care about you? They don't give a fuck.
No, not at all. I think that was when I first started, that was the biggest issue with recording myself. You sit there and you set your camera up and you're like, people are going to be looking at me because I'm filming myself.
Yeah.
They either think I'm going to be into myself or some form of YouTuber or something like that. And you're like, I'm just trying to send this to my coach.
When in reality, they're too busy looking at themselves and thinking the same thing about you, thinking about them.
Don't give a fuck.
But no one cares.
No.
You're not that special.
Well, like to a point now where people will walk in front of your camera. That's how little they I'm trying to film here, my friend. But yeah, it's.
And how does okay? So big body weight, 11% body weight difference. Only 2% off me, by the way, which.
Yes, for the viewers watching at home, Alex and I are only 2% different in body fat.
So when I sent a group chat, I sent the DEX results, and that was the first thing you picked up, and you weren't happy about it. And then he'd even gone and found a picture, like an image from the podcast, and zoomed in on my gut and sent it to me. But numbers don't lie.
Yeah, that's it. You can sit at home comfortably. Photo doesn't mean shit. The numbers are the numbers.
I was going to say though, what time that nude shot of you when you're on the gram?
Mm-hmm.
What time of day was that?
It was after a workout, so maybe like 11.
Okay.
It wasn't first thing in the morning.
I was going to say, because I could send you a photo first thing in the morning, and it's a very different look to the paunch that I'm rocking now.
I had eaten,
okay,
and had like protein shake, which can sometimes blow, but I had a workout as well.
Yeah, okay.
So I was kind of with a pump.
Yeah. Hey, whatever you got to do for the gram, whatever you got to do for the gram. So we get that. But no, how does 11% change in body fat, and that obviously a massive amount more strength, how have you found that in normal day life? Like, is there something that happens now that you feel is more effortless now than it was before? Is there stuff that's worse? I've had people complain to me that because they're on this quest, the food, the just pure cost of food and just the amount of time to shovel to get the food in.
Eating sucks, especially so I'm not on a strict meal plan, but I do have a calorie guide.
Yep.
So 3,400 calories, and it's mixed up of 220 grams of protein, 100 grams of fat, and then the rest is carbs.
Yep.
But you can, whatever you have to eat to make that up, eat whatever you want. So it's not like chicken and rice. Like if you want to have steak or lasagna or whatever, as long as it fits the macros, go nuts. It's funny. So this gets back to the social media thing again. It's funny how your mind can really fuck up your progress in certain ways. It can help in some ways, but it can also be a detriment. So when I was fat, I didn't care what I looked like.
Yeah.
Because I was fat.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's easy to not care.
Yeah.
That's the only ammunition you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That quality that you're showing me is worthless to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And you'd hear all the time, oh, you're fat, and you go, whatever. I'm fat because I've chosen to be fat.
Yeah.
Whatever. But then when you start to lose weight and you do start to change how you look, that's when you get stuck into, this person looks like that, or I want to look like this, or I want to look like that.
Right.
So that can be, I can understand, and this is why I got into psychology, because there's so many athletes
Yeah.
or, bodybuilders and things like that, they get this really bad body dysmorphia where they don't know where to stop. Because initially for me it was just, and I've worked my way back into it to just be weight, like how much can I lift? Go back to performance rather than aesthetics, because that's what got me to where I am now. Was purely performance based. But even that, you can compare other people's lifts and you go, oh, how come he can lift that and I can't lift that? So you really need to dial it back to, this is my journey, this is where I started. One thing that I learned was, well, the beauty of sending Dave my progress videos every week is you can go back and you go, oh, this is where I was in June, this is where I was in this is where I was in April, this is where I was when I started in January. And then if you compare it to yourself rather than comparing it to everyone else, you go, oh, fuck, I did a good job.
I've thought the biggest problem with social media is just having the amount of people to compare to. So you can go, and I've used this example before, but I think it's probably the most poignant one. I had a couple of times where I'm like, how come everyone's on holidays except me?
Yeah.
But it's not that everyone is, it's that one person is. And then when they're back, someone else is.
Yeah.
And then when they're back, someone else is. And
That's
your
it.
perception is, well, you're the only person that's not there. And it's the same, I'm guessing it's the same when you're looking at images of people. And I'm not an image conscious guy. I told you I've got body morphia. I look at myself in the mirror nude and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, you are killing it, right? So I don't compare myself up against other people. But I could see if no matter what your metric is that you are using, whether it be performance, aesthetics, intellect, the amount of accolades you've got, the problem is having to look at so many people, such a condensed data set of people that are also looking at the same thing that you are. Do you know what I mean? So
100%, because, and don't forget, they're only posting the best of what they have. So they're not posting the Monday to Friday bullshit. It's the Saturday on the drinks or the PR
it's
or
filtered
or the weight cut. Yeah, there's no journey to get there. It's just a result. And so you don't know how they got there. You just go, oh, they're there. Why aren't I there?
And if you think about the psychology behind a picture before and a picture after, but that journey is everything.
Oh,
the journey's not shown.
No, 100%. And that's how you get these gimmicky like weight loss pills and stuff like that. It's like, oh, Charles did this in 6 months.
Yeah.
We don't know that. We didn't see the 6 months of. We just saw this.
I love that meme. It's like that fat white guy drinking, and then it's like in 3 months' time, and he's just this ripped black guy. I love it. But yeah, okay. So, but is there anything in your day to day that you've noticed that's changed from, with absolute respect, fat Liam to staunch Liam?
No. Oh, this is going to sound bad. Not really.
Interesting.
I have found more of an escape. So I have found better methods of coping with different things.
Like mentally, you mean?
Mentally, going to the gym.
Yep.
So whereas I never used to really have an outlet, or the outlet would be...
Just internalise it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Just let it burr up inside you.
Yeah, just
yeah.
Just dig deep.
Just numb the pain.
Just dig deep. No, I think this is probably how I got fat, was that you would just stay up till 2 a.m, you'd play the Xbox or Netflix or something, because again, you're just trying to bury whatever's there. But if you can turn it into something productive, then you at least feel, oh, I'm getting something, I'm working through something.
I have to say the best remedy to agitation is lifting something.
Yeah.
Because I had it yesterday. I had a difficult customer, and the day was so good, but this guy was just making everything so much harder than it needed to be, and it was very hard to communicate with them. And I got home and I was agitated, and even touched it, and she was like, "You're like mad," and I'm not a mad guy. I don't get mad, but I was so agitated. Just went to the gym, whacked it out. Sweet.
Yeah.
I felt so good.
So much better. It's the endorphins that you get from putting your body under stress.
I love dolphins.
But it is true. You never leave a workout afterwards feeling worse than what you, unless you injure yourself.
Yeah.
Feeling worse than what you went in, and it's the hardest step is going, and that's any problem in life.
Yeah.
Any problem in life is getting started.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but there's a psychologist who came up with the 5 second rule. So if you allow
So she was the one that. So when food drops on the ground,
she
you
came
pick
up
it
with
up.
that.
Wow.
It's so if you allow yourself more than 5 seconds to think about any one thing, that's when doubt or a different opinion can come up. So if you ever have to do something,
Yeah.
if you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just go and do whatever it is that you have to do. If it's you wake up and you spend half an hour on your phone instead of just getting up, if you wake up and you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just get out of bed, that's how you get out of this.
I can illustrate that. I've got the perfect example for that. Going out for lunch or dinner with friends and looking at the menu.
Right.
My strategy is look until something I like, close it, order it.
Yeah.
And the people, and a few people in particular that I go out with quite a bit, always have absolute regret because they keep that, analyse this. Okay, so if I got this one, then that's pretty good. But this one over here has got this, and this is what I like. But should I get this one? Okay, and then you've just guaranteed you're going to have a bad experience there.
Oh yeah.
Whereas I'm like, someone goes, don't you wish you got the blah blah blah? No, I really enjoy this. I didn't even know that was an option. This is delicious.
I do one better. I just order the same thing.
Yeah, you're a robot.
I am a robot. Once I find something I like, I'm ordering that.
I've got
nothing else ever.
I've got a mate that does the same thing, and he keeps on telling himself, do you know what? This week I'm going to try. And we'll talk to him. He goes, man, I've ordered something else, and it was shit.
Yeah. I know where this $15 is going. I know what's coming back. It's going to be fine. That's it. I'm having that forever.
I do get it, but I also like to because Tasha especially is into so she's like a really super clean vegan, and we get to go out to these crazy restaurants that have stuff that you wouldn't order because you have never seen it before. So I like to try different things, and I'm a bit of a explorer. I'm a bit adventurous.
You are.
And but I have found that technique is a recipe for success, whereas overanalyzing and overthinking definitely adds pressure that doesn't need to be there.
Isn't it the 80% rule? If you have 80% of the information, you should just act instead of waiting for the other.
I've never heard that.
I think it's a big thing that like CEOs and things like that use. Is you just act as long as you've got 80% of the information, act on that instead of waiting for the whole picture. You've got enough. You should have enough information to go, and that's why these people are obviously ahead of the market. It might be incrementally, not very much,
because they've made more decisions quicker.
Correct.
Yeah, it's similar to a car deal. So when you're doing a car deal, there's like 5 questions that you can ask yourself. So let's say you're making no money out of it. Well, that's a check. Okay, there's no money, but you might get income from finance. Okay, that's a tick. You might have a trade-in. Okay, that's a tick. You think you're going to get this guy back for service. Okay, well that's 3 to 5. That's good enough. We're over the 50%.
Yep.
All right, let's push on.
Yep.
I've never heard of that 80, but it totally makes sense. And I found too, it's far easier to deal with a fuck up after you've made a decision and learn from it and never do it again than it is not to make a decision.
Yeah.
And it's the same as like when a customer brings their friend to look at a car, it's always a red flag. It's something you have to explain to those people. It's very easy for them to say no, because if they say no, they can't make a mistake. But you've come here to address a problem. You need a car. So it's about looking to making it happen, not making it not happen to protect your own.
Yeah, that's it. I always hated that situation. When someone's not there buying the car, but they are for some reason involved in the process, why are you here? Because they always talk the person out of it. No one ever goes, "This is a good deal. You should do it."
Yeah, because they could be wrong.
And, well, that's it. They're not invested.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I've got a friend of mine who is on this journey to try and become a bit more decisive, and I think he recognises in himself that he definitely overanalyzes. Is that the lyrics from Lateralis? Overthinking, overanalyzing separates the body from the mind. Which is that's probably my most, the most important song in my entire life is the lyrics from that song. If you do yourself a favour and search the song Lateralis by Tool, and then read the lyrics as you go, and I would say a lot of my life is based on the teachings of that song.
I think Maynard just tweeted a couple of days ago, if someone hasn't listened to Tool before, the first song that they should listen to is The Pot.
Yeah, because it... Okay, so we move on to the next thing, right? There's two types of videos that I love watching on the internet, and that's when colourblind people get those chromatic glasses, where I can see colour for the first time. I tear up every time I watch them because they're a beautiful video. And also black people watching, reacting to heavy metal stuff, okay? Because it's not their music, but when they hear good is good. No matter who you are, where you're from, good is good, right?
Yep.
And I noticed a lot of people have picked up The Pot to start listening to. And it's a great song, it's not one of my favourites. I think the reason why it's the one to start with is because it just sounds so different to everything else.
Yeah, and I think every band will have their dip your toe in the water.
Yeah.
Like if you were listening to, say, Metallica, chances are someone's probably heard something off the Black Album.
Yeah.
Is it their best album? No. Is it the most commercial album? Yes.
Yeah.
So if you were trying to get someone into that sort of direction...
See, Blackened's my favourite song from that.
Blackened is off And Justice for All.
Oh, damn.
So...
Shit.
Ooh.
Awkward.
Ooh. I've made a boo-boo.
What is... Oh, no, I don't like... What's on Black Album?
Sad But True, Enter Sandman, Nothing Else Matters.
Yeah, they're all the good ones.
Holier Than Thou.
Who the Bell Tolls?
No, that's Right Away.
I like the old stuff then.
Exactly. Yeah, most people do like the old stuff because that was thrashy. And
Seek and Destroy.
That's first album.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's again, that was when they were really thrashy.
Am I gonna get like my heavy metal
badge revoked? Yes. You become the badge.
Hey, name a Primus album, I'll tell you. Primus song, I'll tell you what it's on. Those have been the good ones. There's heaps of these. Or this guy started posting him and his two black friends watching Primus, and I was like, this is gonna be the best video ever, and it is the best video ever. I love it. How do we get onto that? No, Lateralis is the one that means the most. Like, if you really look at the, and I don't want to ruin it for people, but it effectively is saying is like there is this untapped potential that every person has in them.
Yeah.
But it's up to us. You can't ask someone else for that. It's here. It's you. You've got to do it. And just like you said that your lifts are restricted a lot by your mind. Well, let's work on it on getting the mind to work for you and not against you.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it goes back to doing things for yourself rather than comparing for other people. But see, I found I'm in two roads at the moment. I'm having a real
dilemma
lately. I feel like I used to be an extremely selfish person.
Right.
Not outwardly, like I'd never do anything to purposefully put anyone down or disadvantage
hurt
anyone.
Someone for your benefit.
But any decision I made, because I'm like your friend, I overanalyze everything. I need to look at something from 100 different angles. I don't apply the 80% rule.
Yep.
I need 200% before I do anything. It had to work for me. It had to. Every time it had to work for me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like I'm not doing that. That doesn't benefit me in any way. But I've changed, and that can be good. So I've done like the weight loss, changing careers and things like that. When you do work on yourself, that does have...
It does bear fruit.
There is benefits, absolutely. But you also sort of and I'm not a religious person or a spiritual person or anything like that, but you do have to sort of look at your, I guess, moral compass in ways too. And I found that lately, working on other people has given me more kickback.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And it doesn't have to be involve money or anything like that. Just putting some time into someone else.
Yeah.
And not expecting anything back either.
Yeah.
Just
paying it forward.
Pay it forward. Here's something. So like my nephew a few weeks ago, I went to the gym with him because he's like, I've been watching you. What you're doing is insane.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go to the gym.
Yeah.
I'll show you a few techniques. I'm obviously not a coach, but I've been doing it for 11 months. I can give you some pointers. Now, I'm not expecting him to give me anything back, but just pay it forward. Other things, I've had, if you find out a mate's, down about something or, financial problems or something like that, just do something. How are you? Invite them out to lunch. Do something small to show them that you're thinking of them.
Yep.
And that can make a big difference too. That's the payback, is to show.
There's more than that.
Yeah.
Because, so, I'm that guy. And I got it from my dad. So my dad, as hard as, or as harsh as he was on Jason and I, one thing that he did was he was very kind to other people. And what I learned, especially when you got, don't forget, I got into a very, very competitive industry from the get-go, which is car sales, with the old guard of car salespeople. When I started selling, I was on a floor, there was 20 salespeople, and they were all there trying to cut your head off. So you did become very, that forced you to be independent. However, I did progress through, because sometimes the good of the entire situation is not necessarily what's good for you.
No.
But when the ocean rises, all ships rise together.
Yeah, I think that's something that guided me through management. That's something that I learned. This will be beneficial to me if it's beneficial to the group.
Yeah.
So that's where I started to develop doing things for other people. So I'd always do the overtime. I'd flick out commissions to other people if I felt that they deserved them. Yeah. Because you knew that they'd come back the next month stronger. But again, that was still sort of, this is going to benefit me in the long run. But I think you do need to look at both sides of the page. How can this benefit everyone instead of just yourself? The
world's actually a better place when you pay forward. Because you're not expecting it. Well, so I feel like you'll grow out of this. Because you will not expect it to come back, and you don't want it to come back. You want it to be paid forward to someone that needs it more than you.
Correct.
So when you are investing time in someone else's life to benefit them, and if you just hope that they then do that for someone else, we're all being lifted up.
Yeah, I think that's... So I think you've touched on that perfectly, because my careers lately have changed so much. My focus hasn't been progressing through any form of industry. So now I've looked at other ways that I'm no longer in a position where I'm imposing work-based advances to people under me. Yeah. So now you got to look at other areas where I might have progressed that I can pass on. So
where you can add value
to
someone's life.
Correct. So I know, ever since the end of, or pretty much the start of 2020 is when COVID really sort of affected people. Yeah. It was hard for everyone. It's not just COVID, but that's when you did find like the spike of depression and things like that. I've had depression for as long as I can remember. You just come up with different ways of coping. Yeah. But when you hear other people, when someone feels comfortable enough to open up to you and say, I'm feeling down, and I think that's a really hard thing to do as well. Yep.
That's the hardest part.
That's
why we're in this loop of not helping out. And that's why I really didn't like the Are You OK Day. I don't think it should be one day.
Correct.
It should be every day.
100%. And I think, I think it's about 3 weeks ago now, I lost someone to suicide. and you do, it's hard. So on that day, you actually rang me and I didn't pick up because I was playing basketball. So you do, and you know, there's a chance that you might not be able to do anything.
For sure, but it's the unknown.
It's the unknown.
Yeah.
But whenever someone feels the confidence to open up to you and say, oh, I'm not feeling okay, it's those little things, you know, just the text in the morning, you know, good morning, I hope you feel okay, or good night, just to show, hey, I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, I'm thinking about you before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Just touching base. You don't have to do anything other than that, really, just to make that person feel, oh, someone is actually thinking about me.
Because like we said before, like we said at the opening of this, people actually don't give a fuck about other people.
Oh, no.
More often than not, in our natural state is we're so wound up about how that person thinks about me.
Yep.
It's about me.
Yep.
That it is weird to get. I get criticised because people are like, "Oh, you ring me," because I'm the text. I'd rather just pick up the phone.
No, but that's so you and Josh are the only two people that ring me.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that because it's someone you thought of me, you rang me.
Yeah.
We're having a chat for half an hour that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
About nothing.
But who cares?
Yeah.
The fact that you thought about me and then rang me.
Yeah.
Oh, someone in the world is thinking about me. Because I could have spent the whole day, I'm not saying I did, but I could have spent the whole day thinking, oh,
I'm insignificant. No one would notice. Yeah.
So I have felt recently reaching out to a few people in my network and just touching base is really important. And then
in an ideal world, you just want that person to then do that, like look after themselves and to be able to do that to someone else
100%.
and someone else and someone else. And if you think about like how beautiful is that scenario where if we all just put a little bit of effort into someone else, you know, what can we achieve? We achieve anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think, and look, sorry to get real heavy on that, but especially now more than ever, this suicide in particular, I know the numbers are going through the roof.
Yeah. Through the roof.
And it is a hard time, and a lot of the stuff is, you know, internalized. A lot of the stuff could be attached to your physicality too. Like we spoke, when you got that little niggle, sort that niggle out. Well, if you've got a brain niggle, sort that out too.
Yeah.
But it's up to, that's all of our responsibility. We all have a vested interest in seeing us as a civilization thrive, and I think that's what separates us from the animals, right?
Yeah.
But I think there is the reason why I call is communicate. The art of communication, I feel like, is dying to a point where, you know, most businesses want to email everything emailed, all correspondence emailed, whereas some stuff, most things, in my opinion, should be a face-to-face conversation.
Yeah.
And you know, tone is important, and that are you okay? Well, are you okay? And yes, via text could be very different to, you know.
That's it. It's well, it's a dumb comparison, but it's like when you get the someone calling in sick, or they text in sick. You're like, I want to fucking hear it.
Yeah.
Call me. I want to hear how sick you are. But it's the same thing. We've lost the ability to communicate.
Yeah.
It's all two thumbs these days.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think, I mean, I see how many disagreements there are online. How many people are miscommunicating with each other all day, every day.
Yep.
Communication is important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somehow I don't know why it just got me to think about. Do you know that in like ancient Greek culture, there used to be a pot at the town square.
I think you told me about
this.
Yeah,
you write down a name of someone that you don't like, and then if enough people voted that person,
you get kicked out.
They get kicked out. I don't know what made me think of that, but it's like I think for a society to function correctly, we need to communicate. I think that's why. Look, I feel like that's where a lot of road rage or domestic violence, a lot of that kind of stuff is, and you tend to find. This is a massive generalisation, so don't rip the head off. Lower socioeconomic, lower educated areas tend to have more of those problems.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of it is stemmed by a lack to communicate your point. So let's say if you've left school early and you maybe struggle to with your communication skills, it is increasingly harder to get your point across.
Yep.
So people actually, you might be hard done by because you don't know how to ask for what you want.
Yeah.
Or or the person that's inflecting their negativity on you, they don't know what you're trying to say.
No.
And again, that's on all of us to try and help.
And I think you can do things about it, and it's about, I think another difficult thing is identifying issues that you have in your own DNA and trying to fix them. So 2021 for me, so I ended a 7-year relationship.
Yeah.
Now it's so easy after a breakup to be like, oh, that person was a piece of shit, it was all their fault,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But when you look back and reflect,
In a constructive way.
In a constructive way,
Yeah.
I was just as much a part of it as anything.
Yeah.
I know one of the things that I'm terrible at is communication.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that could be the root of that is having a family of people with autism.
Yeah.
We don't communicate.
Yeah.
It's the weakest aspects of autism.
Yeah.
Is communication.
Yeah.
But you can do things.
But everything's in the right place.
But you can just because you have an issue doesn't mean you can't work on it. So
Sure.
one things that I had to do in my last job as an RTO manager was the morning induction. So that was public speaking. So I was getting in front of 150 people every morning, introducing the trainers, the courses, where the exits are, where the lunchroom is. I don't like fucking doing that.
Yeah.
But you do it enough times, you go, okay, cool, I can do this.
I think the big lesson in that, and I've had people in my network say, that's just who I am, and if you don't like it, then I'm like, no. Work on it.
Work on it, 100%.
We are not who we were.
Nope.
We can always develop. Now, you can decline.
Yeah.
Or you could choose to improve those things.
100%. Well, that little bit of nugget of 5 minutes in the morning doing the introduction got me to try and stand up.
Yeah. I'm so jealous. That is so cool.
So I've only done it twice now.
Yeah.
But that's, if you were to strip my life away into two things, it's stand up and music.
Yeah.
I have a overwhelming passion for both of those things. You know, I'll watch all of the comics interviews, I'll watch all of their routines over and over. But it's, okay, this is something that I'm not good at, it's something that I've never done before, but why not try and do it and improve it?
Yeah.
And I think that's, having the confidence to do that has then given me the confidence to work on personal relationships.
Yeah.
So if I can get in front of a bunch of random people and talk, why do I find it so difficult to talk to people that I surround myself with on a daily basis?
Yep.
So you can work on it. You know,
not just you can, you should.
You should.
You should.
Jordan Peterson, who I'm sure if anyone watches the pod, they're probably familiar with him.
Yep.
He's a big psychologist in America. Well, he's Canadian, but basically he says you shouldn't be happy with yourself.
Yeah.
If you're in your 20s, why would you be happy with yourself?
Yeah.
Your potential is so much more. Go and work on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Just go and master your craft.
Yeah.
And whatever that may be. But yeah, I don't cop when you like if you're in constant circles of bad relationships, then if you're the constant in that, then there's some reflection needed there, and the tools are available to work on those things.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm very conscious of. We had this conversation through the week. I haven't listened to that much music because that time to me is better used listening to a podcast that teaches me something.
Yep.
And it's amazing. We have all the information in the world,
Yep.
all of it. Our whole history is wrapped up in on your phone. But it's a choice to whether you're going to absorb that.
It's a choice. It's 100% a choice, and it goes back into where do I want to invest my time?
Yeah, but there's nothing cooler than going to a party and then just pulling out this much random nugget. it's such a good conversation starter. And then I hope it fires off some like, hey, do you know what I learned that, I can't remember what the last one was. Oh, I watched this doco the other day about it was Jeremy Clarkson. Did I talk to you about this?
Yeah, you did about the Navy.
Yes, and where where the English mocked up a ship to look like a German ship because I'm having to go down a German channel to take out a shipping dock, a dry dock. That's the only dock big enough in the world to house and repair the biggest German ship in the world. And then they actually spoke to some of the guys that were on that ship, and to me, the thing I brought out of it was like these men knew that they were on a suicide mission and still did this because they, it was the right thing to do, and like this, there was so much to gain from that. For me personally, there was so much. That mentality is so admirable,
Yeah.
And that wasn't not a nautical joke.
I got a tattoo a few weeks ago of a butcher's knife and a lightning bolt, which was, I've done a similar thing to you, a deep dive on Churchill.
Right.
So he had a tactic called butcher and bolt. So
Yeah.
that's why I got the butcher's knife and the lightning bolt. But it was this tactic of get in, cause as much havoc as possible, get out.
Right.
So butcher and bolt. But again, it's another thing where it's like, just get in there and do it.
Yeah.
Don't skirt around the outsides. Get in the thick of it.
Did work for him.
That's it.
Very interesting. We did Dexter. There was something else that I was going to touch on with you. Now I've completely forgotten it because we went in directions that I didn't think we were going to go.
No. Gone off the path.
I can't. I'm drawing a complete.
What do you normally talk about? Rona?
Yeah.
Crypto?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay. So it's in the finance world. So some big news during the week, and it's been skipped over. The crypto guys are going nuts over it, but the mainstream kind of the corporate media said it, but then left it. Josh Frydenberg, the federal finance minister, came out and said, we're going to put all this infrastructure around crypto and buy now, pay later. Now, as you know, I'm invested in both.
Mm-hmm.
So my ears pricked up. Now, I think it's a good thing that they're going to put some legislation around. Like, I'm trying to build something in crypto as well. And when I was talking to the lawyer, even the lawyer said they've got no plan, no idea. And it causes a real grey area when the law, if you're trying to build a business, there's no legal framework for you. So you don't know, and they don't know what's illegal. And you could build the whole thing, and then they could say, that's illegal. Okay. So it's good that they're putting some legislation around. And also, I'm I like the fact that they've said we're going to build some infrastructure around crypto and not we're going to ban crypto, which has been said years, right? So that's a good thing. The buy now, pay later, same thing. We are, just for those that don't know, Australia invented the buy now, pay later business model. Afterpay looks to be purchased by Square for $130 billion or something like that. It's the biggest acquisition in Australian history. And we are the guinea pigs for all this financial framework. So to me, that's another good thing as well. I don't think that they're going to clamp down on it. I think if anything, they're going to ramp it up because banks are doing more damage to people in terms of credit cards than what buy now, pay later do as a structure. But the big one, which was one line that no one's talking about, which is blowing my mind, is Josh Frydenberg saying they're talking about a Australian digital currency.
Mm.
Now, this people are just going like, who cares? Me, who's like, my finance brain is going, this could be one of the biggest, could be one of the most extreme ramifications on our economy.
Mm.
It could be really good, might be really, really bad. Now, in an extreme circumstance, what if they bring out this currency and they say, okay, we're going to get rid of the old one. The new digital dollar-do is worth 4 normal dollars. So you're going to pay $4 to get one digital dollar to do and effectively get rid of the debt. Because I think we're at $300 trillion in debt or something insane like that.
Right.
So is it like what the Eurozone has done? Sorry, I'm getting excited. For people that don't think these drastic things happen, that's what happened with the Eurozone.
Yeah.
The Eurozone was packaged up like, hey, we want there to be easier trade. It's kind of not really what it was about. What it was about is that you've got Greece, Portugal, Italy, economies
Fucked.
absolutely fucked. And then you've got Germany, France, killing it. Okay? Well, how about we just mesh them all together? We'll get rid of everyone's currency and we'll just bring out this new one. And you've almost leveled the books in a way. I've mentioned, you've probably missed this, but I've mentioned that I think the Eurozone's going to fall over the next 5 to 10 years because there's no benefit to anyone. There seems to be less and less benefit to stick together. I think COVID has actually created that divide. So it's happened before. They've replaced money with other money to make some money stuff change, to get rid of some money problems. And that could be what's happening here. Because if you think about it, never in my life have they thrown out Aussie dollars like they have now. Not just talking about JobKeeper, right? JobKeeper and JobSeeker and all that was a minute amount compared to just how much we are spending on tests, jabs. We're talking millions of dollars a day per, that the taxpayers don't have to pay for sometimes. It's our money.
Yeah, it's the same in the US. I think it's 38% or 40% of currency, of money printed in the entire history of America was printed in the last 18 months.
Federal Reserve printer go. Brrr.
Correct.
And ours has been doing it too.
Well, but that's the thing. But it's all going back in. Everyone thinks, oh, you're printing all this money and you're giving it out in stimulus packages.
Yeah.
But it's all going back to the rich because you might be giving it to the poor people. Here's $2,000 because you're poor. They don't know how to money manage.
No.
So they just piss it away and it goes straight back.
Straight back to the people. Now that's called trickle down economics. That's what's supposed to happen. You stimulate here, it turns over 5 times. You get the tax, 5 times on the way through, and you're supposed to get all that money back. But the stuff that we're throwing money at, there's little to no return on it. And if you think about it, we're just pumping it into an overinflated property market, an overinflated stock market. In my mind, being a crypto guy, the Australian dollar has never been worth less than it's worth now because you can get it for free. You can't get Bitcoin for free, can you? But you can go get Australian dollars for free. You can go onto your MyGov, oh, what am I eligible for? Cha-ching, free money, here you go. You can go to the doctor, free. You can go down to the Bunnings car park to get your shot, free. You can go down to the pharmacy to get a test, free.
Comes from another way.
Yeah, but the fact that they're talking about changing it or introducing something else says to me, well, maybe that is the solution to that, to the debt problem. Let's erase it. But you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, as you said, if the crypto dollar is worth 4 physical dollars, your net worth, unless you have other investments, just went down to a quarter.
Yeah. And does that sound like an irrational concept when you're a government thinking about how are we going to pay this all back?
Well, it doesn't affect them, so.
Huh? right. So yeah, that's massive, and it's something to definitely keep an eye on. The other thing too is that's right on the cusp because I've shorted Bitcoin. And I recommend that no one does whatever I do.
No, it's always been poor advice every time.
Yeah. One of our viewers has bought a car, but anyway. Evergrande is on the brink of collapse.
Right.
Evergrande's Chinese. The viewers know, you might not know, Chinese, the largest real estate company in the world. And they have been bolstered by the Chinese government, allegedly, to make their interest payments. The interest payments like $300 million a week.
Ooh.
And they have not been able, they've been selling car parks, parts for just concrete. They've been selling it just to make the payments. that's going to run out.
Yeah.
And I'm talking in weeks. And that will be bigger than the 2008 global financial crisis. Because at scale, it is a much bigger thing. If you think about the reason why it's a problem is because they've got $300 billion worth of debt. The debt is attached to the asset being their property. Well, now if you say, okay, that company is non-viable, it's going to fall over, the underlying asset is now valued less, which means every property in China is worth less. Therefore, everyone's stock is worth less, and anything attached to that stock is worth less. So you're going to have create this massive deficit. And their scale is so big, like China is so big, this company is so big, everyone's going to catch a cold because of this. So practical measures out of this, cash out, look for opportunities. Okay, so have cash ready. I'm not doing this. I'll tell you what my strategy is, but everything's going to dip. Crypto's going to dip because people are going to need to find money. They're going to pull money out to try and do stuff with it. The stock market's going to shit itself. It already has been on the slight decline anyway. But when this does happen, it's going to be big. The smart players will be putting money into that market, not selling. Okay, you could sell now to be ready for it, but have some money ready, because when you see red, that is opportunity. Okay, that is opportunity. You don't want to see green, you want to see red. But you want to see red knowing that red's coming. Okay, so that is the big tip, because it is stay close to that news, because they're not really talking about it. I mean, have you heard about Evergrande? It's one of the biggest financial things on the planet, and no one knows about it. So you know about it.
Yeah, I'm not a good weather stick though, because I don't know about anything.
Yeah, but no. But this is my thing. It's not an excuse. So okay, put it this way: if you come to me next year on the bones of your ass, I'll be like, it's your fault, because the signals are there.
Correct.
And you said that you didn't know, but no. Now you know what to look for. Go and look for it. If you know that you're weak in that area, develop that. And that financial savviness, and from a mental game, you'll appreciate this part. Being a crypto long hauler, like I am, I like seeing the red now. I love it.
Yeah.
I thrive in it. Whereas everyone online is going mental, right? Because it's going down. I just see opportunity.
Yeah, we spoke about this last time, way back when I was on last time. That's panic sellers.
Yeah.
What are you doing? It's like, red's good.
Red's good.
Red's when you buy.
But this will be big because there's nowhere to hide. The property market will suffer, the stock market will suffer, the crypto markets will suffer, whereas crypto's always been a hedge to cash. So it's always moved in the opposite way. But when this hits, this is going to hit everything. So just know that it's coming. That's my tip.
I'll be able to get a house.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're in a position, and you can tell that there's some other issues coming too, because like they're putting interest rates up again. Right. So they're trying to address inflation. So we know that there's inflation, but everyone at home's probably thinking they're poorer than they were before. Yet all your bills are about to go up. Fuel's gone up, shopping's gone up, everything's gone up. It's about to pop. It's coming. The wave is coming. Be ready to surf it.
Buy some what are the sleeping monkeys? The NFTs? Tide gorillas?
No, I want to talk about that. I do want to talk about it, okay, because a lot of people are asking about NFTs, and I've actually not discussed it properly. Is there a space for NFTs? Absolutely. Do we know how they work yet? No, we don't. Because my opinion on these monkeys, I don't even know what they're called, but what all that says to me, and why I've had no interest in purchasing one, is if you spend a buttload of money on marketing something, you're going to generate hype. Once the hype is there, you'll make money. But to me, that's not what NFTs are about. NFTs are about an artist being able to share a one-off item with someone that appreciates that thing, and also benefit from the subsequent sale of that item. Okay, that's where I think the power of NFTs are.
Yes.
But
don't think that's what's happening in the market. No, I think the first genuine one that I saw, which I was happy about, that I don't know his name, but there was a rapper. A rapper made 1 million copies of his album or his singles or something like that for $1. And he said he sent it out to all his fans. Said this song or whatever, this album is $1. You go buy it. He was the fastest platinum selling artist in history. He became platinum in 57 seconds.
Wow.
He made $1 million. And
got to keep it.
Yeah. And the value, he said he's happiest for his fans because his fans will be able to sell that for whatever.
Yeah.
$5, $10, whatever. Like, he's like, I made money and you'll all make money and you're making money because you invested in what I did. It's kind of taking the record company out of it.
Exactly. Okay, so this is where I see the advantage. And I saw, what's that, Gary Vaynerchuk? What's his name? Anyway, he said it, and this is the first thing that had made sense to me. If you're a garage band, what if you made album artwork like we used to do back in CD days, right? But you offered the album artwork as one-off NFTs to your loyal fan base that you have now.
Yep.
At $1, at 50 cents, at whatever. And you structure the NFT that every time it gets sold, it's 50-50. The band gets 50%, the seller gets 50%, okay?
Yep.
What you are doing is, as a fan, you are helping support the band. The band will hopefully use those funds to help them get moved to the next level, whether it be a tour, whether it be a new recording, like a studio recording. And because of that investment, that band is now more appreciated